This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
Welcome to another episode of My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
And we are all feeling the second day after Keegan throws a party.
Look, man, I'm hanging in there because yesterday was one of those days, you know, before a party when you're just like running around getting stuff done. So like I got up, I took a shower, I went to Target, I got back, I made cookies, decorated, and then so I barely ate yesterday because I was just kind of like grabbing stuff here and there.
Right.
And then I made the strongest cocktail of all time.
Oh, man.
Like the strongest holiday drink.
I think you just accidentally grabbed the rubbing alcohol and
well,
threw it.
Cassie and Chris got to the party early,
of course
and so
we did.
like I was making the cocktail, and I was pouring it into the like dispenser, and I was looking at them, and I was like, this doesn't feel right. I was like an entire like one of those big handles.
To be fair, Chris literally said, "Is there ever too much?"
He did,
and then he was like, "I think found
there's
out
too
there was."
much. Yeah, because it was an entire like whatever that liter.
Like
what
a
is
handle,
that? Like
yeah.
a big one, and I was like, this feels like too much vodka, but this is what the recipe says to do. I got it on Pinterest. And all of
Eric
the comments were like, it's amazing.
We loved it.
He kept trying to get watered down more and more. It was like, add more ice, add more
I added
anything.
like extra club soda. And then, of course, it's our party. So we had Jell-O shots. And then we decided to go to the bar after.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Mistakes were made, you guys.
Yeah.
And I avoided that mistake, thank God.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was like, oh, I kind of want to go. And then Chris was like, no.
No.
And I was like, you know what? Good call.
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, it was fun, but
Right.
I woke up early to watch the movie for our bonus Patreon Tainted Love movie, Love Hard, this morning. So I got up at 8, and let me tell you, it was a rough
8.
waking up at 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of watching stuff, though, one thing we all semi talked about last night, but weren't able to like really chat about was the new Sex and the City release.
Yeah. Which everyone I know has watched it.
Yes.
You know, it's something that, listen, like the original was
A time and a place, wasn't
a
it?
time and a place. Exactly. And it is very nostalgic. And although I had recently rewatched it during the pandemic, and there's a lot of cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still
But I
love that
still-
show.
yeah.
There's just like a special
Yeah.
place in my heart for Sex and the City.
Yeah.
I know that it has flaws.
Yeah.
Right?
I
You
was
know?
super young at the time and didn't have a lot of girlfriends. So for me, it was kind of like this elusive unicorn thing that I would
Correct.
never, ever get to have. And you were kind of really a voyeur on like this, like what girlfriend relationships could be if you just sat around dishing with your bitches. And I'm
Right.
like, what's that like?
Now you have that.
And now
How does
I
it
have
feel?
that. And it is awesome. It's just as great. It's just,
I mean,
it's
we're
everything I dreamed of.
practically the Sex and the City crew. I mean,
Well,
what's the
I
difference?
hope we're not, because
No.
Oh,
this
yes.
look at them
I
right
know.
now. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to preface this with there
We
might
will
be spoiling.
There will
yeah,
be
there
spoilers.
will
There's
be
There will
no
be
way for us to
spoilers.
talk about it.
If you
without-
haven't seen it and the first 2 episodes and you don't want it spoiled, please just forward this entire section, because I
Yeah.
don't want to. I hate when stuff gets spoiled for me on like podcasts. So
Right.
if that's a concern for you, just please skip this entire section. I don't want to be that person for you, but we will be talking about it because
Yeah.
we have to.
Yeah.
Just like I was upset on my pandemic rewatch of what it shows women being like in their 30s. I am upset by the way these women in their 50s are portrayed.
I don't like the way. Yeah. Okay. So it's whenever I watched the Friends reunion and they were talking about like, oh, you know, could we ever do like this, like come back years later and revisit
You're like,
the
nobody wants to
friends.
see that.
Well, and that's what they said. They were like, well, we don't want to do that. And the creators of the show don't want to do that because, and what I think Lisa Kudrow said was that we would have to deconstruct this like perfect ending that we put on it. We put a button on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we left their lives as they were, and we would have to create conflict. We would
That's
have
right.
to like change their relationships. And we just don't want to do that. We left
Right.
it the way we wanted it. And if you don't think I'm going to watch every single episode of
Oh, yeah.
And Just Like That,
Yeah.
of course I am.
Same.
Yeah.
But-
Can't not. Honestly, there's a part of me that my heart was just like, oh my
Of
God.
course. Oh, the nostalgia.
I loved it. It was like
Yes.
an abusive relationship. Like, I just love you so much. I can't leave you, but I know you're not good for me.
Right.
Yes,
oh,
I
absolutely.
hate love is the perfect. Like I loved the nostalgia
Yes.
of watching it. Absolutely. I was
The
so excited to revisit all the
wardrobe.
characters.
I love how they all aged into themselves as opposed to necessarily fought it. I don't know. They aged as themselves.
I think
right?
that Sarah Jessica Parker looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. I think that Miranda looks beautiful. I think they all look beautiful in the ways in which you expect those characters to look. Right? Has Charlotte probably done some alterations? Good for you,
But
bitch. Go for
she
it.
would.
And
like
she would.
of-
That's
yeah,
her character.
you know, that
Would
makes
she
sense.
color her hair? Yes, she would. She Upper East Side for sure.
They
It's just- it is-
turned Miranda into like into this Karen.
Yeah, I don't like that.
just don't understand.
Looks like she's gonna have like an alcohol
I
Oh
problem.
yeah,
don't.
she is.
I don't like
They're
the
setting it up.
direction.
hmm
I do not like
And
the direction.
Steve, who's in his 50s, is like deaf, and so I'm like, they're portraying these women who are like in their 50s, which is great. We do need women
Yes.
and their stories in their 40s and in
Yeah.
their 50s and in their 60s because we are still valuable and we still have stories to tell. But they're acting like first
Caricatures, first of all.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
like,
telling
they're
me
like,
that
"Oh, we're
Carrie,
so old."
who has a podcast now, because of course she
Okay.
does, which makes sense.
And can't talk
However,
about sex?
but she can't talk about sex.
Come
the thing
on.
you built your career on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In your 30s, like you won't talk. You're shy.
I'm too prudish. It's sex. Is so
You're not
weird.
a prude. Carrie was
Honey.
never a prude.
No.
Right.
No, she had things she liked and disliked and would and wouldn't do in bed.
Yeah.
But she talked about it. She had a whole column talking about sex.
Right.
Whenever that was kind of the whole thing, when it was kind of like a taboo thing for women to be upfront about.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I just don't believe that she wouldn't have adapted unless, you know, being Big's wife on the Upper East Side has totally changed who she is.
It's
Like,
so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Like their characters aren't even their characters anymore. It's a strange like.
And
there's
they-
a part of me
They
that's
should
like,
have killed Samantha off too,
oh,
because they did
what they
her
did
dirty.
to my girl. I
They
am
did her
so
dirty.
upset with what they did to Samantha. I am so upset. I mean, I'm
I
interested.
thought they
to
left the
see-
door open for her to come back if she wants to. I think that it was.
But
like,
she never would have done what she did in this. Like in the first 2 episodes, it makes no sense for her
Yeah.
character. If they're not going to kill her off, then they need to come up with a stronger reason for why she's gone
That's right.
than a work dispute.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's not
That she
enough.
basically threw away her friendship with these
It
three
felt
women.
pointed. It felt pointed.
did.
It felt pointed.
Yeah, they were definitely.
Yeah.
It was a dig at Kim Cattrall. It felt
for
like
sure.
that, for sure. And the rest of this isn't whatever your issues are with Kim Cattrall. Like you need to set that aside for the fans because this is
Yeah.
for the fans. That's why you
Right.
brought it back.
That's right.
And the fans love Samantha. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh man. But,
But,
yeah.
but I will watch every episode.
Me
and,
too.
And I
Joke's on me.
yeah, they
Here
got
we
me
are.
good.
They got me good.
They got me good.
Listen.
And I did enjoy revisiting the characters. Like
Oh, yeah.
as flawed as I feel like they are, as much as I feel like they shouldn't have written them the way they did, I enjoyed sitting with my girlfriends again. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, there was, I will say, and not to be spoiler alert, because I think we can talk without it, but I think that the entire second episode,
I did cry. Did I
cried
cry?
my
Yeah, I did.
fucking face off. My eyes were swollen and red. I was
You cried more than Carrie.
sniff-snobbing. Oh, I cried hella more than I cried more than fucking Charlotte
Oh no.
in this.
Yeah.
I was just wow.
P.S. Her making it all about herself. I was
Charlotte's
like,
insufferable.
Charmingest
Charlotte,
thing ever.
Jesus.
Insufferable. She's insufferable.
That dress on her though,
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Ugh.
Yeah, well.
so beautiful.
Oh
Just
man.
tits McGee, and I was like,
The
I'm here for it.
fashion is really just
die.
But that's another thing though that I found in myself while watching this is because when I was rewatching the original show, which I did recently, I don't know, because I think it was so long ago, it was a different time. Like I can like distance myself from all of the like excess.
Yeah.
Whereas like that felt a little cringy to me this time where I was just like, I think it's a different time now where we no longer necessarily like as a whole are like idol worshiping all this excess and like all this stuff where like it was kind of like icky to me that they were so rich.
Dude,
like,
I'm in this I'm in the same boat because the other thing that I've been watching is like hoarders. And so my anti-capitalist heart is like just
crush it.
I'm like, get rid of all your stuff.
at least
She
most of those
opens that
people are
closet or whatever
shopping from thrift stores. So
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God, you have too much shit.
yeah.
I just can't get over how egregious I feel about the Miranda situation. I think probably because I probably relate to her the most as like a professional woman who is strong, is married to a guy who's just a really nice guy, but not too much of not a pushover, but just a good guy. Like I just feel like, and she's just this really strong, powerful woman. And I really enjoy that character. To see her be turned into such a,
I'm hoping that they
I hate it. It's so hard to
I'm
watch.
hopeful that like these characters, maybe they started here so that they all have somewhere to go. Like
it.
maybe that's it because I don't know, maybe she'll have a really incredible like powerful character arc. I don't know.
I'm hopeful.
I'm just glad her and Steve are still together. I'm not going to lie. Like that made me really happy because that was always kind of like a back and forth. Like, will they, won't they stay together?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my gosh. But yeah, the extra characters that they've added to feel very forced.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Where
Charlotte's
it's like
new friend. It's so forced.
They
it
called
really
her
is.
Black Charlotte.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? When they were at the concert,
I don't like
they're
that.
like, "Oh, it's Black Charlotte." I don't remember which one said it.
Oh, yes.
Steve, I think.
It was, I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
it was Steve.
And I get the joke, but I'm also
Yeah.
like, feels like that didn't need to be written in there.
Yeah.
we get it,
Oh my
that that's
God,
what's happening.
how sad was it to watch with, his name's not Mozzie on the show. What's his name? Her friend, her gay best friend.
Oh, Stanford.
Oh, yeah.
Stanford, and he's,
I know.
I know.
so sad. I can't believe he's passed. That's such a sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Not that old either.
No.
Life
Really.
comes at you fast.
And
you
just like
to-
that.
to
And
take
just
it.
like that.
I know.
So I have to wonder.
Oh no.
You're sitting at your laptop.
Clickety click 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 click.
Well, I'm glad though. It is so cultural, you know. Like it's just a time and a place, and like I said, it was cool to have the party last night, and like literally all the girls, we were like, yeah, no, we've watched both episodes
Of course,
already.
right.
So yeah, it's nice to have a moment. But in that vein, are you guys ready to fuck, marry, kill? Because I think we
Those
need to
three?
do the
Oh,
Sex and the
yeah.
City guys.
The guys.
no.
Oh, the guys. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Oh God. Ugh.
Okay.
So we
okay.
have Big,
Okay.
Mhm.
Steve, and
Mhm.
Harry.
Harry.
Mm.
I like Harry.
Have
I think
we
I know what I'm
not-
going to
Have
do.
we never done this? We've never done this?
No.
Okay.
sure?
All right. All
Okay.
right.
I think I know what I'm going to do.
Ugh. Okay. You go first.
I said I think.
I know. I was like, well, do it then. Okay. You know, I think I know what
I know.
I'm gonna do too. I am gonna marry Harry.
I know.
I'm gonna marry Harry. However, the fact that he's married to Charlotte is the most
I
suspect
know.
thing about him.
Yes.
I'm like, why are you married to her? She kills
insufferable.
your vibe constantly. Like she is
They are
like
cute together.
me
though.
and Harry would have the best time. Like we would have fun.
Yeah,
Like
'cause
Harry
you guys
and
are
I.
just chill.
We're chill. Like
Yeah.
we'd be so chill. Like we might never get anything done. I don't know. Maybe he needs that kind of Charlotte energy in his
Right.
life. I don't know. But he's a lawyer. Like, okay. I don't know. Anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna marry Harry. He just seems like he seems fun.
Oof.
This is where it gets hard. No, it's not. It's not hard for me. I am
Yeah.
going to fuck Steve.
Ugh,
and
Steve's hot. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It's hot. What is wrong? I just he is hot. Why?
I know. I thought, dude, when I
I
rewatched
can't
this
understand.
series or
I
whatever,
know.
when she first meets him in the bartender in the bar and
Yeah.
he's bartending. I was like, God, Steve is hot.
And actually, he's
so
like,
unassuming, right?
Right.
you make, because I feel like you could marry Steve too. Like,
But
yes,
they
totally
all
marriable.
have issues. I mean,
have
like
issues.
Harry needs like a mom. He
Mm.
kind of needs like a mom energy.
ew, don't say that.
Steve
Also
is
needs a mom energy. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
That's why he married Miranda.
And then Big is like so emotionally distant and closed off. They all have like
I couldn't marry
issues.
Big.
No.
Like Big.
Not even a little bit.
No, and I don't even think I want to fuck Big because
No.
I have watched the show, right? Like a few times through.
I've
and
never been
like,
more turned off than that scene where he's trying to masturbate, and I was like,
I was like, please
My
don't.
face.
Please stop.
immediately stop. This
please
is
no.
awful. It was like watching my parents accidentally.
Well, I mean, it is Sex in the City, so we have
Right.
seen these characters in bed, and I just
Sure.
feel like Steve is better at it
True.
than Big.
Oh, yeah.
Like I just feel
You're right.
like
You're
it's
right.
gonna be a better time.
He's gonna try harder. For
yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I mean,
Big is not gonna try at all.
no.
not even a
Like
little fucking
Big
bit.
clearly after having watched the show gets off on you chasing him, and I don't have the energy.
No,
No.
all
okay?
the time, honey.
Like Steve, like
Will
is
chase
going
you.
to adore you, like,
chase
and that's
you.
kind of the thing. And wasn't the sex super good? And that's why Miranda kept like
Yes.
going
Yeah.
back to Steve.
There you go.
So I am going to fuck Steve, and I am going to kill Big.
yeah. You know what?
Well, Peloton did
Spoiler-
it for you.
Spoiler alert.
Taking your 1,000th ride is now the best way to call like death.
Oh no.
Allegedly, Peloton,
Allegedly.
please don't sue us.
Oh no.
Their fucking stock like plummeted.
Which is
That's
ridiculous.
wild.
Can we
It's
just
so dumb.
That's so stupid.
Come on.
Fictional
like,
character.
I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know the spoiler. And I swear to you, I'm like from the beginning, from the moment he entered the episode, I was like, and the song that he loved, and he looked gray. I'm sorry. His skin looked gray. He looked like E.T. I was like, phone home, bitch. You about to die.
Yep.
Oh no. Well, I was annoyed at first when I saw them together because I was like, man, I don't like that they're so happy.
Oh.
No, because he was such a fucking asshole to her.
Be happy though.
I want
You don't
her
want
to
him
be happy, but like but
He's
they
awful.
wouldn't, and they wouldn't be like, and
No.
that's kind of how I felt like when I saw them, and they were like, oh, making dinner, putting on records, happy, and I was like, I just don't think that they would be happy like this because he was such a dick to her for so long.
Yeah,
that stuff
honestly.
doesn't just go away when you get married.
No,
And
no,
then-
it does not.
No,
What?
and then like because I'd seen the thing that like Peloton is blah blah
Yeah.
blah released a statement, and so then when they announced that he was like, oh, I'm gonna take my Peloton ride tonight, I was like, oh, I feel really bad
Yeah.
because I know what's coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Well, what's
think,
coming is she's going to stare at him while he dies
Okay.
instead of calling
Stop it.
fucking 911.
Have you heard of fucking CPR, bitch?
Yeah, nothing.
He's talking. He's looking at you. CPR, bitch. CPR.
Why? Like he can't reach his phone, but you can reach yours.
You can
Call
reach
somebody.
his phone. You can fucking literally do anything.
She's like, I'm just thinking about my inheritance.
Oh man! Wow, woo, wee, wow.
Yeah. Well, it's back on the FMK. I actually think that I am going to marry Steve.
It's a good choice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a bad choice.
You know what? To be honest, he does remind me the most of Eric.
He got his shit together.
Yeah.
Like after they broke up the first time, like he fucking opened his own business. You
Yeah.
know? He got on top of it and everything. And
I mean, and other than the fact that he can't hear, kind of a hot older man.
Yeah.
oh
like,
yeah.
you know?
Oh,
Total
dude, the scene in the
zaddy.
closet with him crying, and I was like,
Yeah.
just sobs and sobs and sobs.
Yeah.
Their son. We need to talk about.
Oh my God. I'm
Oh.
putting that out of my mind.
Thank you.
Oh my God. That's so gross. And I think I'm gonna fuck Big.
Okay. Wow.
Christina.
Here we go.
I think I'm
Why
gonna
would you
fuck.
do that to yourself?
It's just a fuck.
Yeah, and besides, I'm like, it's got to be good. She kept going back to it for fucking 6 seasons.
You know, I guess
She loves making mistakes.
Yeah.
just like me. I'm a
like
Carrie, and just like that. But yeah, no, I'm gonna fuck big. Harry is fine. He's fine.
Harry's my favorite. I'm not gonna lie.
But
Harry-
yeah, I don't know. I think it's the naked couch sitting episode that really did it for me. I'm like, no,
it's true. It is.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like a man who had to be told not to
just wear boxers and not to fucking put your balls on a white couch. You know? I'm just like, no.
He hadn't been potty trained yet.
I know. I'm like, it's skid marks on the couch. No.
Oh.
So yeah, no, I'm sticking with it. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck big, marry Steve.
I haven't rewatched it for a long time, and so vaguely only remember what you're talking about. So that helps.
It's also very sweaty, Harry. That was a whole thing.
I don't want to talk about that because
Okay,
I want to marry Harry. Harry is my favorite. He's always been my favorite.
Yeah.
There's something just charmingly unkempt and fun about him.
He's silly.
But he's also like super smart, businessman.
Right.
Gets shit done.
Good dad.
Takes care of, loves his kids. Really good dad.
Yeah.
Just really would bend over backwards for his family. He just is like a really great guy to marry. Right. Like I would marry Harry for sure. I think he's like the best.
Okay.
He's got a great sense of humor for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely
You'd
has
laugh with
the
Harry.
right sense of humor for me.
Yes.
Right. Whereas like Steve and I would probably get on each other's nerves immediately, if not sooner.
Yeah.
I really, really like Steve. I do think he's definitely fuckable. Will fuck Steve.
Yeah.
Do think that over time we would clash. Like we would be great friends.
Right.
I don't see us as good long term.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he would get on my nerves.
Of the three of us, you would be I'll give you Harry. You can have him because you would be the best with Harry of the three of us. I really think that.
Oh my God, am I Charlotte?
No. Oh God. No.
No, but like I have that energy. I can be naggy, that kind of thing, and I don't want to nag or mother.
Oh, you're talking about
partner.
Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we would not last.
Don't do
He
that
would-
to yourself. Don't. You don't have Charlotte energy.
Not at all.
No.
And honestly, I think he likes it. I think he laughs about it. Like, I don't think he takes it seriously. And that's the best thing about Harry is that he takes her momming with like a nudge and a wink. Like, he's very much like, okay, dear, you know, like, oh, right. Like, like he knows that she's just uptight and that's who she is. And he just takes her for what she is. He doesn't take it too seriously, which is exactly perfect because that is the kind of energy who's just like
He's go with the flow.
who's great
for sure.
somebody who is also I can be a little uptight. I can be like worried about shit that doesn't need to be worried about, which is also Chris, where he's like, yes, it probably is cancer. I don't know. Like he's the one who like literally walks through me in the stupid nonsensical shit where it's like, okay, yeah, no, it's definitely you're fine, but all right, well, you know,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the spot is this, you know, like panics over nothing. Okay, dear. So I just think, but whereas like, I don't know, there's something, like I said, I think we'd be really good friends, Steve and I, but I don't think that we would just literally rub each other wrong.
Right.
We're like you, yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe I do kind of remind myself a little bit of Charlotte in that kind of uptight, spins myself out way. But you do kind of remind me of Miranda, who's kind of like a little bit of a boss bitch, but also can take charge. And Steve is the kind of guy who's like...
You're talking to Christina, just for the listeners, because
Yeah.
they won't know which one of us.
Yeah, that's true. Nobody saw me point
Gesturing.
at her. Yeah. I gestured with my whole entire hand. No one saw that. Got it. I don't know. Like, I feel like, yeah, like that makes sense.
Yeah, I would never be able to be with Big though. Somebody that's
No.
that emotionally closed off.
No,
Yeah.
hell no. Hell no.
I could be with an Aiden.
A man who left you
Okay.
at the altar.
Honey,
Carrie.
Aiden. Where is Aiden?
Oh, I
Where-
hope he comes back. Oh,
You
honey.
know what?
Still
I
hot.
need a next season comeback. I think it's too soon for her to get tied up with somebody yet, but not for me to judge. People do, but we all know.
I don't want her to be with Aiden. I just want him to return so I can
I
look
want
at
her
him.
to be with Aiden, which is why I need it to be next season. She's definitely going to get with the podcast dude, right?
You think? Oh,
If
yeah,
they
he's
held
hot.
the camera on his hot ass way too long. They're definitely going to fuck. They're going to make mistakes. It's going to be too soon. She's going to get upset about it. I'm writing the story right
Right?
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I don't want her to end up with Aiden. I want her to end up with someone new. Like, because I feel like that was the problem with the original show is like,
Okay.
stop going back to big. Like, there's a million other people in that city.
Yeah.
Find someone else.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
Well, yeah. Well, I love that everyone I know is watching. I thought it was just my guilty pleasure. So I'm
It's
like
all about guilty pleasure.
happy
We
to share
deserve
that.
this. We do.
We need this. Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
And we're back. I totally forgot that I do that. Okay.
We're all looking at you like, I dare not do it. Not on a hungover day. Shit.
Oh, God.
I'm all,
We'll just sit here in silence. This feels fine. Okay. Cassie, you're up first.
Right. I'm going to kick us off. All right. So, okay. I got this from Reddit, and it says, was recently going through a divorce, and some friends recommended I go on OkCupid to start dating again. What kind of friends are those? I don't know.
Why that dating app? I feel like, okay.
Oh, okay. I matched with a girl who I met at a local tiki bar we were both fans of, and who I was friends with the staff. I get there early, saved her a seat. She walked in, looked great, and we started chatting after ordering drinks. 20 minutes later, we ordered one more to share. I excused myself to go to the restroom, and when I returned, she did the same. One of my buddies behind the bar asked me, as if concerned, if everything was okay. I told him, yeah, things were good. I thought he was screwing with me at first, and he finally told me his worry. Apparently, while I was gone, he saw her slap herself in the face as hard as she possibly could.
Oh my God.
That's not where I was expecting that to go.
I know. I was like, what'd she put in the drink,
Yeah,
bitch?
same. I was like, did she try to roofie you?
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know.
In the shared drink that you guys have. Not like a light tap, but a full-on Russian slap contest slap to her own face. I don't even know what that is, but it definitely paints a picture.
It sounds intense.
I still thought he was messing with me until she returned and we resumed conversation. Mid-sentence, in answering a question she posed to me, she slaps herself as hard as she could in front of me.
Oh my God.
I stopped with what was probably my jaw on the ground and asked her if she was okay. She continues like it was normal. Yeah, just trying to keep awake.
Whoa, hold on. I'm sorry. Because like at first I was like, okay, like maybe she has like,
Yes,
like a neurological condition or something. Like,
That's right.
But okay, if you're trying to keep awake,
yourself awake.
you
That's
have
it.
to.
Time to go home.
And you can't just slap yourself in the face and continue on with conversation as though
Normal.
nothing happened.
Normal.
You have to address that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're saying that you don't do that? Wow.
Anthony sometimes asks me to slap him when he's tired. Like, and I'm like, absolutely not. He's like, slap me in the face. And I'm
No.
like, I will not do it.
Okay, so this is like one of those things that you would see in a movie, right? Somebody slapping themselves in the face to keep
Like,
themselves
but a
awake.
tap.
Have you? Okay, I get so tired when I drive, and I used to sometimes when I was working on the road have to drive long distances, and I get what I call carcolepsy, whereas like when I'm driving, I get so tired that I could just pass out at any time. So I would do. Has that ever in the history of ever worked for anybody? It literally does nothing.
I mean,
for me.
I guess if you hit yourself that hard, like, because like I've definitely tapped myself in the face
little
before when
tap,
I'm
tap,
tired,
tap.
but it's like a
But
tap,
doesn't-
tap, tap. No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
No, but slapping yourself full on, I have not tried
I
that.
haven't tried
Maybe,
it, you know,
And-
right?
I can't give an opinion on that one.
Maybe
I don't
if
know.
I try harder next time. I mean, if I really want to do it, I
Let
should
us
just
know,
do it, right?
Cassie,
Okay.
if it works for you.
Okay. So, mind you, we both had a drink and a half. I make a suggestion to close out. I paid, and we walked the local downtown area, to which she agreed. She was wearing espadrilles, high-heeled platform type shoes with for the uninitiated. I love this guy is like, let me explain.
Oh.
I did
I
not
love
know
it.
what that was.
Espadrille? Yeah, it's like a wedge.
It's like the wedge.
but it
shoes.
usually has like a tie around it.
Oh,
Like the kind that tie.
I own those. I didn't know that's what they were called. Okay, cool.
She turned her ankle not once, not twice, but about 15 times. Now, to be
It's
fair,
time to go home.
somebody,
Time to
somebody
go home.
pre-gamed.
honey, to be fair, same. Don't even need to be drunk for me to roll. If I'm going to roll a joint, it's going to be my ankle always.
Yeah.
A high heel and just a little weak walk. I'm like, "Whoop."
Yeah, like one crack in the sidewalk.
Oh,
just touch that wrong and
a light breeze brushes my cheek, and I'm like, oop, and it hurts. So on the second one, I caught her to break her fall, and she promptly shoves me away and says, "I do not kiss on the first date."
Okay.
I reassured her that it wasn't my intention, and I was just trying to be helpful. And at this point in the date, I'm in the date for just science and emotionally removed.
just for science, just for the story.
Yeah. I recommend we sit and chat some more, to which she grabs my hand and inspects them thoroughly, telling me my hands were okay. She then shoves her hands 2 inches from my face. Have you ever seen nicer hands than these?
Wow.
Can you imagine?
She's
like,
is she a
yours
hair
are
model?
fine. But have you seen my hands? Like, what? She then continues on about how she has no friends and lives at home. She's in her early 30s and with her affluent parents, and that she relies on her mom to make a lot of her life decisions
Honey,
for her.
like that's not attractive.
Yeah.
Again,
No.
we've discussed like living at home for a variety of
Listen.
reasons, whatever, like
No shade.
But like to brag about it and to like as someone in their early 30s to say like you can't make your own doctor's appointment or whatever, like come on.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
life decisions.
Not cute. It's
that
not
ain't
cute.
No.
I'm now thoroughly removed, but I am still trying to be understanding to her situation. She still seemed a little bit tipsy, so I brought her to an Italian place nearby. She sat down and proceeded to blow her nose in the white cloth napkin.
Oh. Well,
man-
congratulations. That's yours now. Take that home. 'Cause
Old man honking style. Ugh. Like something you see in a cartoon where the hanky starts flapping in the breeze. I'm a bit taken aback. But we get through our dinner, and with much less conversation and several moments of awkwardness, I paid, and that was that. And as we leave, she asks me, was it weird that I blew my nose in the napkin like
yeah,
that?
it was weird.
Yeah. That's where COVID comes from.
That's not it's not the only weird thing you've done tonight.
She's patient zero. I was delicately honest, saying that is not typical. She responds with, okay, I never know until I ask. We part ways and say our goodbyes. The next morning, I get a call from her thanking me for taking her out yesterday. But because of my interest in history, and because I collect antiques, she didn't feel that she could possibly stand up to my expectations. But she still wanted to be my date at a party I had told her about the previous night. And that was to have a big celebrity turnout. I thanked her for her honesty and told her I didn't think it was a good idea, as I didn't feel comfortable. I haven't seen or spoken to her since.
She
Wow.
can't live up to your expectations because you collect antiques.
Wow.
That was a ride.
But she's got great hands.
great hands.
Have you seen her fucking
Have you seen this girl's fucking hands?
Mm.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. All right, I'll go next. When I was about 24, I went on my first and last ever double date with a friend of mine and 2 brothers we'd met at a nightclub the week before. They'd seemed totally normal and cool, so we all swapped numbers and arranged to go for a drink the following week.
all I have is Night at the Roxbury. Two brothers that we met. I don't even play brothers, but I'm just like, it's
That's
where my
hilarious.
head went.
One showed up wearing, why is this so funny to me? One showed up wearing a full white suit, smooth criminal style.
Oh, no.
Oh, Miami
the
Vice.
It's a lot to take in.
That's
That's a move.
extra.
And the other was in skater gear, baggy jeans, chains, beanie hat, which they didn't even coordinate.
What?
Like,
Y'all call each
That's
other?
different vibe.
Are you doing a different date?
very different vibes. They're showing up to the same place. Why would you wear 2 different outfits like that? Okay.
We just want to give you a variety of who
Yeah,
we
we
can
weren't
be.
sure where we were going, so we thought one of us would dress way up and the other would dress way down. That way, at least we had the
Right in the
bases
middle.
covered, you know? Yeah. Halfway through the drink, their mom showed up and came over to us all, beaming. Our dates introduced us to her as their girlfriends while we smiled politely and kicked each other under the table.
Yikes.
Then, an ex-girlfriend of theirs showed up, sat at a different...
An ex-girlfriend of theirs?
Of one of theirs, I'm
Okay.
guessing.
Oh. I was like, what?
Maybe she dated them both. I don't know what she's into.
Damn.
Oh my God.
It's too much for a date.
An ex-girlfriend of theirs showed up and sat at a different table, crying and shooting evils across the room.
Oh, no.
Just sobbing.
Is this an episode of This Is Your Life? Is that what
To make a quick getaway, we went to a club, but Smooth Criminal didn't get in. Turns out he was only 17.
Oh.
And they're 24?
Oh, no.
No.
They met at a club.
I
I
don't.
mean, he must have like snuck in or
Yeah.
something.
Oh,
my
no.
God.
I can laugh about it now, but it was truly a terrible evening.
Oh my God.
no.
Don
Can
Johnson
you
was
fucking
underage.
Imagine.
No. Oh my God. A
17.
17-year-old in a white suit.
And his mom showed up. You're like, there. She's like, how cute.
How cute. Look at you on your date.
Him
in
being
your
17 makes more sense with the ex-girlfriend now because she was probably also
Yes.
17. Like, crying.
Just going to a restaurant and crying.
That's so sad.
Oh, wow. That was
Wow.
It's a
we got
lot.
Just big journeys today.
Yeah.
Got some journeys.
Mhm.
Well, buckle up.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Worst date ever. This is long, so saddle up. Met a guy at a meetup group. Thought he was cute, and he started flirting with me later in the meetup. He asked me what I was doing later because he wanted to keep hanging out with me. I had carpooled with some friends, and we were just going to head back so my friend could drop me off. He said he had also carpooled and asked if it was okay if he came back with us. Friend drops us off at my place, and we walk to a nearby coffee shop. During this time, he starts acting like we're together, coming up from behind and hugging me, holding hands. I had literally just met him, so I was a little weirded out by this.
Yeah, I don't like
this.
that.
No, like someone that's like super forward like that. I'm like, yeah, we've known each other for like
3
15
hours.
minutes.
And like, yeah, that's like intimate partner behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
You just skipped a few steps there,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Coming right in.
But then we have coffee, and he starts telling me about his life and how he lost one of his balls in an accident, so he can't have kids.
I think if you have another ball, you can still actually have
Yeah.
kids.
It's also
Sir.
just like, it's
Coming in
that's an
bold and hot.
intense thing to say over coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
I mean, when you just met somebody,
good to.
get it out there.
I mean,
Feels early.
It does feel early.
It doesn't even feel like this is a date. It just felt like you were just like,
Yeah, we're just getting to
continuing
know
hang
each
out.
other.
can I talk about my balls? When is the right time to discuss balls?
I
Don't
Second date?
feel like it's a 2 or 3.
feel like when it becomes clear that like you're going to
Sex is on the table.
yeah,
Right.
sex is on the table. So to me, that's what feels so wrong about it is that it feels very forward again.
Yeah.
Like it feels like presumptive.
I gotta be honest, and maybe I'm not paying attention to them as much. I probably wouldn't notice if he had
Yeah,
just
no.
one ball.
I mean, if you were down there,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
even so, maybe. But
You
yeah, I
get
don't.
handsy
I don't
with the ball
really
area.
pay attention. You know, some guys are really into it, and some guys aren't.
That's
and
true.
I tend to save ball play for. It's not a first time.
No.
I usually check. I'm like, oh, do you like if I meh or whatever?
Okay, Carrie, what was that?
Do you like if I meh? You know, but it's not something I don't gravitate towards the balls on a first time.
Okay.
But yeah,
I mean, if it was just sex, I definitely wouldn't notice.
yeah.
You know, but if I was down there, yeah, I'd probably notice.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. I feel like you're going to, like, even if you're down there for handy,
No.
Maybe.
just getting it ready. I don't know. Wow.
Just getting it ready.
You know, a little prep play.
Your mise en place. Get it all prepped and ready.
End of the evening, we walk back to my place. He begs me to let him come in and stay over so we can have sex. But like, dude, I've
That's
known
why he
you
brought up the ball.
less than 12 hours and you're weirding me out. So no. I ask if I can give him a ride home. Turns out he fucking lives an hour and a half away.
Oh.
And it's 10 p.m. on a Sunday night. I ask him if there's anyone that can pick him up. He says his mom asked to borrow my phone to call her. He takes out a little notepad. Apparently, he didn't have a phone or wallet on him.
What?
But he had her phone number written down in his little notebook.
Oh,
What's happening?
my God.
Is that like a kid? It makes me think
my
a kid
God.
or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
Does
here's
he also
your
have his name
address.
inside of his fucking t-shirt. He's like, yep, this is mine.
It says Joe. My name's Joe.
R and L on his shoes.
I'm sorry. That's like the weirdest thing of this entire.
I thought it was weird too.
so weird.
that he just has a little notebook of important phone numbers.
Why don't you have a wallet? How old are you?
I have a lot of
I'm
questions.
so confused. I'm so
I
confused.
feel like too, and if it's the only number you really just need to know, I feel like you should also maybe have it memorized.
Also, like, what was the plan? How are you planning on getting home?
He's just him and his one ball are just playing fast and loose
Out here winging it.
Oh no. Oh baby.
He calls the number and leaves a voicemail in a really creepy baby voice. Says, "Hi, mommy."
No.
Chills. I just got chills.
No. If my son called and left me that message,
When was the last time you called your mom mommy? Like, I don't
think about it.
I love my mom. I don't call her
Mama
mommy.
would be like the-
I call her mama.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing something that's like yeah, an endearing.
Yeah. Hey, mama.
Yeah.
No.
Hi, mommy.
Nope, not any better the second time.
Hate it less.
Or more. Wait.
Oh, God. 2 minutes later, the number rings back and he answers, says okay, and hangs up. Apparently, it was a wrong number. And the guy who got the voicemail was super pissed. Somebody, can you imagine just getting a random voice? Hi, mommy.
No.
I would be so scared. Like call the authorities immediately.
911 fucking.
Oh my God.
He probably thought it was like a kid. He was like, I better call this guy back.
And just let him know.
Yeah, you didn't get your mommy, honey.
No.
But he was
Sweetie
pissed.
baby, but
he
he's
was
like an
pissed,
adult.
which is also what makes me laugh. Like they said that the guy who got the
Pissed?
call was pissed.
Yeah.
Why?
So maybe he's been called. It's the number in his fucking notepad.
Oh my God, he's like, stop fucking calling me. I am not your
fucking
motherfucking
mother.
mom. Oh my God, did his mom give him a wrong number?
The mom was like, maybe he'll get lost and won't come home.
She's like, it's 310-555.
So at this point, I'm fucking frustrated and annoyed, but I also try to be a sympathetic person, and I just want to make sure he gets home okay. He says if he can get to a nearby town, he'll be able to get home.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, is it 1950? Like, what's going on?
If you get me to a nearby town, I'll definitely get myself
You know
home.
what? I think I figured it out. I think that this is a time traveler situation.
This is a script.
This is somebody from the 50s who has ended up in today times, has no idea about like cell phones.
Nothing.
He can't let on.
That's why that phone number doesn't work.
That's why the phone number doesn't work. Yeah, his mom passed away 30 years ago. Like,
Whoa.
He's
yes,
a ghost.
we figured it out.
Oh my God.
So
He's a new ghost.
He's fresh ghost.
Fresh ghost.
So I drive him to a light rail station, but the goddamn light rail doesn't run that late on
course not.
Sundays.
No.
I finally had enough. So I drive him to an IHOP and he says he can figure it all out from there.
bye.
Good luck. Good luck.
And of course, I was stupid and naive then, so I made out with him a little bit. I felt bad. I felt like such an asshole driving away.
Why would you make out with this man?
And then she drove by the next morning and he was still there.
No.
The next morning, I send him an email to just let me know that he didn't get murdered in an alley or something, and I don't hear from him at all.
Oh.
I don't hear back until 2 weeks later, and he says, I had so much fun. Let's do it again.
No.
2 weeks later, he's still walking home.
That's how long it took him
to walk home.
Oh my God. Like, what a ride.
What
I
a
have
fucking
so
journey.
many questions. I have so many questions. How old is this person? I need to know.
They're at least old enough to drive. So
What is happening?
The journey,
he's
you
just
guys.
he's just out there, no phone, no wallet, no ball. Like just
No, he has one.
just
No, we can't make fun of that. That's
Fucking-
awful.
no, it's a lot. It is a lot.
It was just a lot in a
It's
very short
very
time
short
span.
time.
Like
A stranger, like they met at some meetup, and this journey.
That is.
I know way too much about you.
I
Like,
know. I don't even know your name, bruh.
yeah.
And I know everything about you.
I know you call your mom mommy, which I don't like.
I don't like
I
that.
don't like that at all. I know
Yeah.
you have her number written down wrong in your
In a
notebook,
notepad,
in your handy dandy notebook.
which you carry, but you don't carry a phone or a wallet, or whatever.
I have
oh my
1
god,
million questions.
How did you get home? I need like
He walked. I'm telling you. 2 weeks later, it's like that. 2 weeks later, he got back into his phone booth and landed back in 2000.
Oh yeah, totally.
yeah, for
He's
sure.
a for sure time traveler.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the only explanation.
He's all Bill and Ted'ing it up over here.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, are you guys ready?
Those stories.
I'm ready.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Yes, I'm ready.
Ready for this tainted love?
Yes.
Okay. So I got most of my information from a People Investigates episode.
Love it.
A 48 Hours episode, as well as an ABC News article by Samiko Moots and Minivan Burke, and CBS News article by Susan Melee. And I'm not going to tell you the names of the articles, but
Okay.
yeah, I just wanna give
Mystery.
credits, right? All right. So our journey begins.
Wow.
Great.
Our journey begins in Woodland Park, Colorado. It's a small mountain town in Colorado. It's full like ranch town. It's not a very big community. It's just a small community town. And Kelsey Barrett has just gotten off the phone with her mom. It's Thanksgiving, and she just talked to her mom, and she has talked to her about plans. Happy Thanksgiving, Mom. And she's saying, my daughter and I are going to head to the grocery store, pick up some last minute items for Thanksgiving. Talk to you soon. The end. Bye. Love you, kind of thing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So great.
Standard phone call.
Standard mommy.
Was
phone
she like,
call.
hi, mommy? Yeah.
Hi, mommy. Hi, mommy. Can you give me that recipe for?
Oh, okay.
So she heads off to Safeway with her daughter, and they go pick up groceries. And that is the last that anyone hears from Kelsey Barrett.
What happened to her daughter?
So
Oh, okay.
Kelsey Barrett is a fucking beast, bitch. She's awesome. She grows up in Washington State on a hay farm with her family in kind of rural Washington. They have, like I said, a farm, a hay farm. She is a kind of a real country girl. She loves farming life. She's, before she could drive a car, she was driving a tractor. She is a go-getter, and she loves this lifestyle. She's very, very country girl at heart. She actually falls in love with flight at a really early age. And she just, she sees these, airplanes flying over the fields, like the crop dusters. And she's like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. She's like, I want to fly. And she does. She is like in her early 20s and learns how to fly. So she is a fucking pilot. This girl is a go-getter. So she is, just living her best life. And she decides, because she's a country girl, what she wants in her life is a country boy. And so she goes on to, you guessed it, Farmers Only,
Yeah.
and finds this wonderful guy. His name is Patrick, and he lives in Colorado. And they begin talking, and they just hit it off. They live so far apart, but they are just communicating on a regular basis. They're constantly talking. And for like 2 months, really just get to know each other super well. And so 2 months into their relationship, he decides he is going to fly to Washington to meet her and her family. And so he does. He goes out, he meets her. Her family is like, this is the country boy for you. He lives on a ranch with his parents, and like they own the ranch, and that's what he does. He works on the ranch. He is a good old cowboy. So he is just the perfect guy for her. And he's such a good looking guy and she's a beautiful girl. They really look, they look great together. They have the same interests. It's very exciting. So when he meets the family, they're just thrilled to pieces that she found this country boy. So he actually proposes and she's like, yes, let's do this. Like, it's meant to be. We love each other. So he convinces her to move out to Colorado with him, come live on the ranch. And that's what she does. So she goes out and moves to Colorado with him, moves on their ranch. And very quickly, his mom becomes an uber bitch and basically is like, doesn't like her for some fucking reason. I can only assume because she probably has some kind of complex in which she probably loves her husband too much. But but that's just speculation. She sounds awful, but she is awful and treats Kelsey horribly, so horribly that she immediately is like, yeah, this is probably not going to work out, me living on the ranch. So I
does the mom live there as well?
Yeah. Well, it's a family ranch, right? So the family home, the big family home on the ranch. So, I mean, technically,
I hate these kinds of relationships. You see this stuff like all the time online. This like I learned the term emotional incest, and like that's what that is. Where it's just like you project that relationship onto your son. Like it happens a lot. It happens in all kinds of relationships, but it happens a lot with like mother-son relationships where like they don't want anyone to replace them as the woman in their son's life.
So
I
gross.
can't wait for Dylan to find somebody to come into his life.
Couldn't feel more differently.
I just want everyone to know that we do not have that kind of relationship. I do love my son, but I also want to see him very happy with someone.
You
whomever
love him
that person
the appropriate way.
Yes.
But there are lots of people out there who will sabotage their kids' relationships.
It feels very much that's how she is. She just is not. She is nasty. Like the reports, like people are like, she's just so nasty. And this is such a lovely girl. Like it's so weird. And so Kelsey's like, that's fine. You know what? I don't necessarily need to live on the ranch anyway for us to be together. Like, I'll just move into this local town, into Woodland Park. I'll get myself a nice little setup. No big deal. Little 2-bedroom. She finds this really cute little place. It's kind of like an apartment condo situation. It's like a townhouse. Exactly. Yeah. It's real cute. She finds a nice little place in town. She actually finds a job at the local DOS Aviation. So she starts being a pilot teacher. She's like mid 20s, like mid to late 20s. Wow. And she's like becomes like a pilot, like a teaching pilot at this local aviation company. Her coworker on the interviews that they do with him on and People Investigates, like heartbreaking. He is just like, he's like probably old enough to have been like her dad, but like you could tell like he was like, no, she genuinely was one of the best people. He wrote like this beautiful letter about like how amazing she was. It is like, he is like, she's just an amazing person. She was so good at her job. She was just, just really raving about how wonderful this person is. Right. So her and Patrick Frazee, they have a strong relationship, but and to be fair, Kelsey is very religious, grew up very religious. Patrick also grew up in a semi-religious family, so not living together wasn't a huge deal at the time. But the jig is up pretty soon because Kelsey does become pregnant, and so it's we're not hiding the fact that we're living a real super Christian lifestyle, right? Like it's you guys are having a baby, you've obviously done the deed. So for whatever reason, though, both of them are really super happy to have a baby. Things may be going out of order as far as marriage first and then baby, but this was all part of the plan. Is they plan to get married anyway, so it's not that huge of a deal. But Patrick still continues to live on the farm and on the ranch, and he does have plans. His future plans are to eventually save enough money so he can buy his own ranch. Like he's not trying to probably live with mom and dad forever. He does have goals and dreams of his own too. So but instead of living with his fiance and daughter, for some reason, he continues to live on the ranch. So they are kind of living quasi-separate, quasi-together lives. It's
interesting. It's unusual. Yeah. You would think it made sense at first for them to live separately, but it's like, you have a baby.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but they do seem to be really great co-parenting, and they really have a understanding relationship. Everything seems to be going
whatever
fairly
works for
smooth,
you,
right?
know. Like,
So, I mean, not everything's peaches and cream, and she does end up. She's like, you know what? Like, Mama needs a break. Like, it's just tough. I'm actually going to take a little. Can you watch our daughter while I take a little trip? I'm going to take a couple weeks off. Take a couple weeks off work. I'm going to do this retreat, just like a spiritual, emotional kind of get myself back in order kind of scenario, right? Like just to get myself straight.
I love that. I want to do one. I'm like, I want to go away for a week and just like hang out in the woods and meditate. That sounds great.
Right?
Yeah.
And so she does. And she comes back so super rejuvenated, like ready to get back to life. And for all everyone says, it seemed like a really great, like little getaway for her. So she was just like in a really happy place. Like, the situation isn't the most ideal, but she's just really in a good space in her life. And it's just a couple months later that, we're coming into Thanksgiving. So it was weird when Kelsey wasn't reaching out to her family. And so when her mom hadn't heard from her for a while, she was like, this is so weird. Like, why has my daughter, who is constantly... They live far apart, so of course they catch up quite a bit. I don't know how often you guys talk to your mom, but I would say probably...
Yeah, not as much lately, but yeah, I mean, like, we text and stuff pretty frequently if we're not talking on the phone.
Right.
We talk on the phone more now just because of everything that's happened, but generally like once a week.
Yeah.
It would be weird.
Yeah.
To not hear like a text at least, like a, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, nothing.
I mean, I don't talk to my parents a lot, but they know if they had gone like a certain amount of time without hearing from me, they would start to worry.
Especially if they've reached out, which I'm assuming that the mother has at this point.
It was funny because she says that she kind of accidentally butt dialed her Kelsey like the day after Thanksgiving. She hadn't meant to reach out to her, but then she'd seen that oh shoot, I called her. That's so silly. But she did get a text back saying like, oh, busy, call you later. Well, and then again, so then it was like, okay, well, I didn't mean to butt dial you, but now you think I need you for something, so you should probably be calling me back the next day or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Or you would hear or a text or something like, oh, sorry, I missed your call yesterday. Like, do you need me to call you? Like something like that. For sure.
Anything, right?
Yeah, I would if my mom called me. Certainly.
Yeah.
So she starts to, like I said, she gets a little worried. It's like a few days later and she's like, I haven't heard anything. And, a few more days go by. So she ends up like it's coming on like the next weekend. And she's like, okay, this is really bizarre that I haven't heard back from her. So she calls the local police department and she's like, hey, would you mind doing a welfare check on my daughter and my granddaughter? I haven't heard from them. It's really weird. It's out of character. So of course the police go over. They don't see anything necessarily out of order. I mean, both of her cars are there. Nobody answers though. So it's weird.
Which would be weird because both of your cars are there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the cars are there. Place is locked. Nobody's answering. So they do reach out because the mom was like, well, her fiance also lives there. Maybe check with him at the ranch. The police reach out to him and he's like, oh no, I haven't heard from her. I have our daughter because, she decided she wanted to take a break on Thanksgiving. We'd broken up. And so she was like, wanted to take another quick break and asked me to keep an eye on our daughter while she was gone again.
Mom didn't get the message that you're broken up. Like that is something you call your mom about.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm not with my fiance anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was like, I sure couldn't tell you. He's like, I haven't talked to her really that much. I mean, I've texted her a couple times here and there.
So the daughter's with him.
Yes.
Okay.
Daughter's with him, but Kelsey is nowhere to be found. So it's all very strange, right? Like they look back at the Safeway, video. They know that mom said that's where she was going. So they found it. Oh, there she is. She comes in with her daughter. She gets all the stuff and, she's done her grocery shopping. So did what she said she was going to do on Thanksgiving. And also it's just like a little strange that why would you go Thanksgiving shopping to spend Thanksgiving with somebody you broke up with? It's weird, right?
Yeah.
And so even further, okay, maybe you're just shopping for you and your daughter, not entirely out of the question, except that why did you then text your fiance and say, hey, do you want me to make that sweet potato or I picked up sweet potatoes to make you a casserole if you want to do that tonight or whatever. Why would you do that? That seems weird for somebody you just broke up with. So there's a lot of little weird things, but nothing enough to really explain because she did just take a big trip. So maybe she does need another break. It's a kind of a precedent has already been set.
Right.
I mean, it's not like she hasn't left her daughter.
You could justify it if you reach.
Yeah. Well, and it is always, you're adult. Adults are allowed to disappear if they want to, but it does seem like maybe there's a little bit more to this. So the police aren't playing the maybe she just disappeared because she felt like it kind of thing. So they want to do a little bit more.
They're like, we got nothing else to do in this small town.
Apparently
we're gonna go
not.
find her.
Apparently not. They are like, you know what? I got time.
Yeah, I got time today.
I got time.
Listen,
today's the day. So they do. They like challenge accepted. They're like, okay, let's take a little.
We
look.
love to see it whenever they take it seriously.
They did, and they were like, okay. So they start to do they pull some phone records. This is how they find out about the text message. And then they see, where's the locator? Like they're going the mile, right?
They're Googling, they're like, find my iPhone.
They do. They pull down all the information they can from both phones just to kind of see like what the history is, where they're coming from. And they see that Kelsey has actually been texting from Idaho, which is really weird. Like her family lives in Washington. So maybe if she was going to visit her family in Washington, maybe she would have gone through Idaho, but the spot in where she was in Idaho wouldn't have been on the way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, I feel like Idaho, that's not the straightest path to Washington, is it?
I mean, you would go probably through Idaho, but the way in which it's kind of was weird. They showed it on a map and it was like, it's not the spot.
Yeah.
And they were like, it just doesn't make sense for her to have been in this location specifically. And it was near like this huge gorge area. So it was like a little strange that it would be coming from there.
If I was a cop, I would literally be like, she dead.
Right. So first of all, you're like, well, okay, that's bizarre. Or maybe she did decide to take a retreat. So again, it's nothing you got nothing really, but they did call the Idaho authorities to check out the area.
Man, I am impressed because like a lot of people would be like, oh, well, she's sending texts from Idaho, so it's probably fine.
This is fairly recent too. So this is all happening in like 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So this is so maybe it's just kind of more the outcry of people like being taken seriously when they disappear.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully we're seeing people taking.
These cops have seen enough like Datelines. They're like, we don't
exactly.
believe you, Patrick. Okay.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Cool. Call Idaho authorities. They go out to Idaho police, check out the area in which the phone had pinged. They don't see anything. But this is also kind of a vast landscape. And even with flying overhead, they're like, well, maybe she flew there. They're thinking all the things that could have happened. But there was no flight plan. There's nothing, right? So they're looking, but they're not seeing anything. And so they dig a little deeper into Patrick's phone records. And they're like, okay, well, who'd he been in contact with the days prior and the days post, like when this happened, like weeks before, weeks after kind of situation. And they noticed that there were a lot of phone calls and text messages between a number that was actually a local number to Idaho. So they're like, that's interesting, in the almost exact area in which her phone just disappeared. So they reach out to the person who's attached to this phone number and they come in contact with Crystal. Crystal is a young woman. She has 2 kids, recently divorced. And they're like, hey, Crystal, do you happen to know? And by the way, now that it's crossed state lines, the FBI is involved.
Oh.
Yeah. So
got the feds on your back.
Feds in. And so they're like, well, okay. Do you know Patrick Frazee? And she's like, nope, never heard of him. And they're like, that's funny because you have like 1 billion calls to this bro. And they're like, oh, Patrick
Frazee.
Yes. Oh, of course.
Like, why do you lie? Why do these people ever lie about something like that? Like,
how do you think they found you?
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Are they just going door to door in Idaho?
Knock, knock, knock.
Honey.
It's so stupid.
So she's like, oh, yeah, Patrick. Of course I know Patrick. Well, we'd met years ago, but, whatever. Like, I like horses.
What?
And he likes horses too. So we're going to go into business together and buy a horse.
Okay.
Okay. We're just business friends. That's all you. That's it.
We're
Just
business friends. I love that.
And so they're like, you've never, no relationship, right? No, never. Wouldn't ever.
Me, Patrick, relationship? No.
Hilarious. And so they were like, knock, knock, knock. Chad, Crystal's ex. What do you know about this Patrick guy? Oh, Patrick Frazee, let me tell you, he's the reason we're divorced because Crystal has been carrying on an affair with this Patrick Frazee guy. This is her first love, apparently. And they met when they were in high school at some camp. And
at some camp. I bet he said it just like that,
I
too.
hope he did. He was so mad.
So mad.
He was. Chad's like, fuck this bitch. He's like, she's telling you lies, and I'm going to tell you all of them.
There we go.
Chad is pissed. So Chad's like, oh, no. Frazee? Yeah, them two have been fucking. And so they're like, oh, interesting. So, well, she's a fucking lying bitch. Okay. Cool. Good to know.
I'm not calling her a bitch, but she's acting like a bitch.
Oh, wow. So they're like, okay, like shit is getting weird, right? Like, obviously, there's something suspect here, right? So they are, literally like, okay, what is going on? So they police at the time are like, well, let's execute a warrant on Patrick's house because this is the last person to have seen her alive. We know for a fact because the neighbors have a very precariously placed video camera that shows the door of her place.
Gotta love those neighbors.
So, great neighbors, great placement. Love to see it. And so it does show literally the last person who saw her or was with her was Patrick. But he's like, yeah, no, I was there. I picked up my daughter for Thanksgiving. So they're like, okay, it could be, but that's also bizarre. You also said you met her out back and you didn't say you went inside. So the police are like, we want a warrant to check your house. So they go, they don't find anything. They don't find anything suspicious other than Cheryl, or not Cheryl, that's not his mom, who's a total
That's what I was going to
biscuit.
say. Like, his mom definitely, like, cleaned up.
His mom's just standing there with her arms crossed over her chest.
I never liked her anyway.
She probably ran away. So anyway, in the meantime, Crystal's like, nope, don't know him. Chad's like, does know him. And they're, of course, they're suspicious. They also, in the meantime, Kelsey's mom and her brother are like, let's go to Colorado to help.
Man, Kelsey was loved for sure.
Kelsey's mom and brother are like, let's go. Let's help the police. They go to her house because that's, of course, where they're going to stay. Very quickly, Kelsey's brother in the bathroom finds blood underneath the toilet that had clearly not been seen before or not noticed. So he calls the police right away and we're like, hey, I just found some blood under the toilet. I think that you guys should come check it out. So they do. They actually do a full entire sweep of the house.
Can you imagine the fear like you would feel as a sibling or a parent
showing up,
your family member is missing and then finding blood like that, like just the like anxiety, the fear.
And not only that, the mom is like, there's a bath rug missing too. And I'm sorry, that should be the first sign to me. Like if I walked into the bathroom and there's no bath rug,
yeah,
in my house, I'm dead.
Right.
Oh yeah. Mama don't like cold feet, especially not in a bathroom.
Right. Exactly.
So missing rug, mom's like, that's not it. That's not right.
Right.
This doesn't look good. So, and then they found the blood. So then they're like, okay, so the police come in and they do a full sweep, right? A full forensic sweep. The things they also start to notice are like cleaning swipes. Like the TV has like big, huge cleaning swipes on it, like big circular swipes, like where it's been recently cleaned. Some of the furniture has the same big circular swipes on it. Like it's like somebody came in and like really cleaned the house, right? So they were like, and Kelsey's mom, Cheryl's like, I mean, she's a very clean person, but who cleans like that?
Right.
Who leaves big swipes on their TV of like schmear? when you're cleaning. That's just not how you clean, right? So they're like, this is really suspicious. Not only do they find her DNA, though, they find 2 other DNA samples, 1 male sample and 1 female sample. So FBI is like, oh, Crystal,
that's
we'd
interesting.
love to talk to you one more time. Can we get a little buccal swab off you? And she's like, you know what? Sure. So she goes in, gives them a swab. The next day, her attorney calls the FBI and is like,
we want to talk.
My client wants to talk to you. She wants to give you a little
I bet she does.
conversation. Well, you guys are going to love this little journey. So Crystal sits down with the police. And the story she has to share with them goes as such.
Okay.
Patrick, the love of her life, had asked her to please kill his girlfriend.
Could you do me one quick favor? Just
You wouldn't mind.
if you wouldn't mind.
If you wouldn't
it's not too
mind,
much.
I would love
if you're
it
free this day.
If you could. Just take the little time out of your day and kill my girlfriend. And here's why. She is an abusive, alcoholic mother who beats our child, and I am afraid for my daughter's life. Well, this is a big trigger for Crystal because Crystal actually has a personal experience with the situation, very similar. One of her very good friends lost a child in an abusive situation who did pass away. So this is something where she was like, at first she's like, I can't kill somebody. But the more Patrick talks to her, she's like, well, what if this little girl dies on my watch?
What does he need you for?
Well,
I'm confused. I'm confused.
Well, yeah, because like he would be suspected.
Yeah. Okay.
And they don't know. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Like she loves, wants to be a family and would rescue this daughter or what have you.
She has to save this little girl's life.
She has to.
And this is the only solution.
This is the
clearly.
only solution.
Only solution.
Mm-hmm.
The police aren't going to help. They're not going to believe her, right? A million questions here, but
Right.
people can be persuaded to do things when they feel like
They're justified in some way.
Jesus, just look at the last 2 years when people just feel like they're justified to go to another state with a gun in their whatever. Anyway, Anyway. So she explains to them that she's a nurse. So she explains that their first plan is that she is going to go and she is going to poison her. She can get her hands on a deadly combination of drugs. And she knows that that Kelsey's favorite drink is a caramel macchiato. So she is going to pick her up a caramel macchiato and poison it. Okay, but Crystal doesn't really actually know Kelsey. So how is she going to just be like, knock, 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 brought you a caramel macchiato?
How weird would that be if a fucking stranger came up and do you want the Starbucks?
What in the actual fuck? So she does go and knock on her door.
911.
Pretends to be a new neighbor. Oh, hi, new neighbor. I brought you this because I heard this is your favorite drink. And I also heard that you helped save my dog. And,
That is so weird.
That is
and
bizarre.
Kelsey is like, no, ma'am. Wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Please take your drink and leave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because what in the fuck?
'Cause
Who
it's so
just shows
weird.
up at your fucking house
Not
with a
gonna lie,
beverage?
I would probably drink it though. I'd be like, I probably would be.
I gotta be honest,
I'd be
I
like,
thought-
a free Starbucks? Okay. I mean, I
It
didn't
is
help
my
save
favorite
your
drink.
dog, but I'll take it.
Not me, man. Stranger danger,
Listen,
you guys.
if
I love a free beverage.
Listen, if I didn't have so many dairy issues, I would, because I would be like, I don't know. I don't know if I can believe her that it doesn't have coconut.
Don't want it to go to waste, though,
I know.
Don't want that caramel macchiato to go to waste.
Listen, would have thought about it real hard. I'm not gonna lie. You almost had me at caramel macchiato.
Oh my God,
I
you
was like,
guys.
that had coconut milk in it. But no, Kelsey's like, no fool, and she's like, no, ma'am, I literally don't know what you're talking about, and you definitely got me mixed up. I'm so sorry, but I appreciate it, but no thanks. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
So
Foiled again.
foiled for those damn kids.
Wow.
So, attempt number 2. She's like, Patrick got me a bar, like a
crowbar?
not like a crowbar, but like a pipe,
nightstick?
metal pipe,
Oh,
A metal pipe.
Okay.
metal pipe. And
Wait,
Are you-
Patrick had to provide that you
Listen,
couldn't
this is
find
Patrick.
some sort of cudgel to
Also, it's like, are you a like 1920s mobster? Or
Is
something?
this
like why
is this
are
Clue?
you? Yeah. Why are you hitting
Candlestick
someone
next?
with a metal pipe? Like he just went to Lowe's, picked up a pipe. Like why?
He lives on a ranch. He had a pipe laying around.
All the things.
wow.
So she makes the drive from Idaho, pulls up into her parking lot, gets out of her car, and a dog starts barking. So she gets nervous and jumps back in her car and leaves. She's like, nope, not tonight. So she's like, couldn't do it. Attempt number 3.
Meanwhile, she's driving from fucking
Thank you.
Idaho.
She's got
each
2
time.
kids.
Yeah.
Where are they? Where are the kids?
With Chad.
With Chad.
With Chad, of course. And it's not her big truck. She actually borrows her friend's car. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but back and forth between 2 states.
Putting wear and tear on that vehicle, my
That's
friend.
3 trips.
Yeah.
Okay. Like 2 hours.
Friend's
No,
like,
I love you, but
It's a lease. right. I'm so fucked.
I am so fucking pissed right now. So she drives down again and he provides a baseball bat. And she pulls in, she opens the door, and she just gets this feeling. She's like, I can't do it. And so she calls him and she's like, dude, bruh, I cannot do this. This is too, I can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It's
You're
an
asking
incredibly
too much, right?
violent way as well to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Like it's
beat
very
them to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was like, I just can't do it. And he's like, are you fucking serious? You seriously can't do this? Fine. So she doesn't hear from him for like a few days. And then suddenly on Thanksgiving, she gets a call from Patrick and is like, you got a mess to come down here and clean up.
Pardon? Excuse you, Patrick.
Wow.
And so what does she do?
She
Oh
goes
my
and
God.
cleans.
So
Like-
she stuffs her car full of cleaning supplies, takes her ass back to Colorado, and
Crystal.
lets herself into the apartment. Like, this is like 2 days later, and she's like, it's the bloodiest scene she's ever seen in her life. So she
And you're
cleans-
like, but I still want to be with you, Patrick. Like after seeing that.
cleans it all up, cleans the whole house, goes through everything, trashes all the stuff that should go in the trash, literally cleans the entire house. Wears like one of those suits, like a painter's suit, hat cover, the whole thing, right? So she cleans up the place, puts all the stuff in her trunk, and then she meets Patrick up at the gas station where he is filling up a 5-gallon thing of gasoline. And so they head out to it's not on the ranch, but they had, or it's like a thing that he had maybe just off the ranch or something like that. Anyway, in this barn. And he is going to light it all on fire. And not only is he going to light all that on fire, he's also going to light up this big black case that has Kelsey's body in it. So the police are like, wow, that's a big story. So they go through and they start looking at more video footage. So they see the day after, Patrick picks up his daughter. He's in his pickup truck. They're heading to Walmart, and in the back of the truck is a big black case. They see the video footage of where they meet at the parking lot in the gas station, and him filling up the gas can. There is no body that they can find, and there's no real evidence they can find. But Crystal did say, she's like, I was so worried about the whole scenario that I actually left a little bit of blood in some discreet places I can walk you through and show you where I left some stuff. And the other thing is that there was also a tooth that was left.
Oh my God.
And he called me. So he knew about the tooth. I would have kept it, except that he knew about this tooth. And he was like, look for this tooth while you're there. I mean, so like the whole thing is just disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh my
Right.
God.
So from the remains that they do find in the fire that was built, they did find, actually funny enough, a tooth in the fire. It didn't have enough evidence it didn't have
DNA.
enough roof DNA,
Mhm.
but it was definitely a female body, or it was a female's tooth. That's basically what they could decide. But the prosecution decides to go forward with the case because they're like, I feel like
we
we
have
have
enough.
plenty of evidence.
Yeah.
And, if Crystal's coming forward, she's basically, our eyewitness to the entire thing. She knows everything. And with what she has given the police and for her part in it, she's only going to have to serve up to 3 years. So the police, the prosecution's like, okay, well, there could be questions here, right? But all questions go out the fucking door when apparently Patrick's in prison and his prison buddy is like, oh, hey guys, let me show you some stuff that he gave me. It's literally like napkins written on napkins that are like a fucking hit list that he's asking his. What is wrong with people?
Yeah, no, and I'm also like, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, what was the fucking point of having to kill her?
No, that's what was the motive. I don't understand.
That he wanted to have his daughter and was done with the relationship, I guess.
That's it?
I don't know. There's not really...
It's so pointless.
It's so pointless.
Like, you already weren't living together. It wouldn't have been difficult to, like, end that relationship.
And still do the same thing you've already been doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're worried that if you end the relationship, she'll move back to Washington with your kid.
Maybe.
Like, maybe that's the... But no.
Yeah, it's not... It's thin.
It doesn't... It doesn't
the
work
math
like
isn't
that.
mathing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But then, so that's too, because I was like, well, maybe it could have been Crystal who did the whole thing and fucking lied,
Yeah.
But then it's like...
Which would be my concern if I was the prosecution.
Sure,
is that,
exactly.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, well, yeah, exactly. It could have been Crystal. Crystal could have done it. Maybe she was so jealous and wanted to be with him that she, did this whole thing.
But if Patrick was like innocent, then he would have come forward. You know what I mean?
Told the truth. Yeah. If your fiance who you love was
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you also exactly wouldn't be like, oh yeah, no, we broke up. Like, and none of that tracks. Like, he's been lying since the beginning too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. And then too, the icing on the cake is the hit list that he provides to his.
Who's on it?
Yeah. Like, oh, Crystal's on it.
Okay.
Her husband's on it. Her Crystal's friend is on it because she also spoke to the police. Cheryl, who's Kelsey's mom, the brother, like pretty much everyone is on this
because
hit
no
list.
one will be suspicious when all those people who are close to you just disappear.
And
like
the napkin says please flush on it. So.
Oh, well.
Oh,
Then
well.
he really covered his bases.
Yeah.
What an
Just
asshole.
an idiot.
Just dumb as hell. So she does get Crystal for her part does get 3 years in prison. She actually end up getting released early. I don't think it was COVID specific. I do think that she got out early because there was in a couple of articles I saw online was like she really shouldn't have gotten that much time for that. It was very convoluted. It's only 3 hours though that the jury is out before they do find Patrick guilty of first-degree murder, and he does end up getting a life sentence plus like 156 years on top of it. Like, it's a wild sentence.
Excellent.
Yeah. So,
well,
wild. Yeah,
wild.
Wow.
Jury
Yeah.
knee.
That was
Shit.
terrible.
Yeah.
Those plots to kill.
Well, just it's so senseless and it's so bad and so poorly done.
And at all those times, she could have called the police.
Yeah.
At all of those stages, at any of those stages, a woman's life could have been saved because.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that knew, like her friend knew, the one that she borrowed the car from.
What?
Knew. She told her friend, she was like, yeah, Patrick wants me to do this.
What?
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
you
your
guys
friend.
fucked
Yeah.
up. Your friend should have called the police.
Yeah, here, take the keys.
Jeez.
Just fill up the tank on your way back.
Listen,
like, what?
You know how much I love you both.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. No, we've discussed it
we're gonna have
previously.
we're gonna have
9-1 fucking 1.
Yeah.
No.
You can't do that, girl.
No.
He ain't worth it. There is no
Sis,
dick worth it.
Please, get some self-worth. Please, I'm begging you.
I'm
Right.
begging you.
Begging you.
This girl, if you think that daughter's being abused, 9-1 fucking 1.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, man. Well, on that note, what are you guys watching besides And Just Like That?
I mean, that's
Dot, dot,
really the only new thing that I watched this week, besides Love Hard, which if you want to hear my opinions about that, you're going to have to skedaddle over to the Patreon,
Right.
to hear about that. But that's it, really. I haven't really watched anything else.
Yeah.
I'm listening to a really fascinating new podcast called American Radical, which I definitely recommend subscribing to. It's really, really interesting to hear how, like, you know, we've talked about it on the podcast before that there's a cult for everybody.
Oh, that's
Absolutely.
true.
And so, yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I also watched Dope Sick
Oh yeah.
on Hulu.
How'd
with
you feel?
Michael Keaton, and enraged.
Yeah.
Also,
I don't think I can watch that.
The guy that plays one of the he was in Boardwalk Empire. He played Rothstein. You would recognize him. I have to pull him up.
Okay.
He is so brilliant. He is such a brilliant actor.
Okay.
The acting in this is great. The story is so heartbreaking, and at the end of it, I'm like,
I know who
Oh.
you're talking about now.
yeah,
Yeah, he's
phenomenal.
great. Yeah.
And Michael Keaton in this was so good.
Yeah.
so
Love Michael
good.
Keaton.
I do
I've
too.
heard that Dope Sick is so good. It's on my list,
It's
but
so
I just
good.
have to be in the mental headspace to be able to absorb that because I
But
know
it's
it's
so
going to
hard.
be infuriating.
I didn't know you can still get OxyContin.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
No, nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed,
Yep.
despite everything. And that it's well known now that it was like a complete and total like disaster for America. And
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
Continues to
nothing's
be.
changed. It does, especially where
It's
we're
really-
from in Ohio.
Yeah, it's really hard because I know 6 people who've overdosed,
Yeah,
and so for me, it's I don't know, like stuff like that is just it's too close.
yeah.
It's too real, man. And
People
it's
need to
real
know
fucking
though.
people.
So things like this
I
need to
know.
like shows like this need to exist because
Of
people,
course.
yeah,
For
they
sure.
need to know that this is something because so many people don't realize.
Yeah.
You know, like if you've ever watched Intervention, like the number of people on there who are either straight up addicted to pain medication or that was the first step to them
100%.
Oh yeah,
getting addicted to heroin.
Yep.
Like it's so many.
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Every single person that I just you know, all 6 of the people that I knew. I mean, I'm talking people who as close to me as like one of my best friends in school to somebody who was acquaintance. These are all people I knew in real life in flesh and blood, partied with, hung out with, knew. These are real fucking people who are gone. And all of them, every single fucking one of them started out with an addiction to painkillers because they got a surgery, because they had a this, because they had a whatever.
And you just trust,
Yeah.
like you trust medical authorities that like it's going to be safe, like it's going to be fine.
yeah.
You know, like why would you assume?
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah. It's really, really well done. But it's a terrifying and sad story. So I recommend it, but also like
Yeah.
just know it's a big old bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, with trepidation, right? I just binged. I was making cookies yesterday and entirely binged Queen of the Con.
Oh,
It is so fucking good.
yeah, that
It
is a wild story.
Is that the one who pretended to be
maybe.
a German heiress? Is it that one?
No. This is a different woman. I highly recommend it. She
Okay, cool.
pretends to be a lot of different things.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me. And Thomas bleeped this name out, but you guys know who I'm talking about. It reminds me a lot of
Oh,
Okay.
right.
So it reminds me a lot of this person because of the feeling I got. Like love bomb, always there to help you out if you need something. Over and beyond, like even when you really don't need something, we'll offer something like, oh, hey, I noticed this. Can I offer you this to be a solution when you're just like, I didn't even ask for that. That kind of behavior always makes me suspicious anyway, but it is definitely that confidence game that cons use, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I'm here for you. So when I need something, I expect you to also deliver.
Right.
Which is why I never trust anybody or anything. And I never, this is,
I'm sorry,
100%
you're the one that's going to be taking a caramel macchiato from a stranger. apparently.
It would.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, you can't let that shit go to waste.
Yeah, like listen, she's not wasteful. She's suspicious,
Also,
but not wasteful. Over
that's
here.
right. I'm talking about somebody that inserts themselves in your lives. This
Yeah.
is just somebody who's my new neighbor out of nowhere. Like, oh, this is a nice, kind first gesture. But if you start doing that kind of shit all the time, my alarm bells start going off immediately.
Right. Because you're right. When they come to you and they want,
That's right. Because then
money to help out and stuff.
And that person did come to call on certain things, which I'm like, I just knew, like I had, and it was never like it wasn't the money yet. It was the, hey, can you do this favor for me? Hey, do you mind doing this favor for me? It's that kind of soft con that also lets me look into like the bigger picture. Like I literally listened to the whole thing and I was like, Chris, this is this. Like you see people who like, maybe they don't even know that's who they are.
Yeah.
They don't even know they're like a con artist, but it is all part of this. Like it's a very light, it wasn't like she took me for $15,000. It's not even like she took me for $5 because I'm not the one.
Yeah.
But
Well, some people just operate like that,
That's
and
right.
they don't see anything wrong with operating like that, and it might work for some people. Like
Narcissism.
it does
you
work
know,
for her.
yeah,
Narcissist.
It does work for her. I've seen her go through boyfriends. I've seen her go through people. She can literally, she has one single friend that I know of that has been her friend from the beginning who she seems to not be conning, but like, this is like, I see that real behavior.
Hope she doesn't listen to this podcast. She probably wouldn't know you were talking about her anyway.
Yeah, this person's not going to know that I'm talking about them. Right, Thomas?
Oh my gosh. Well, if you guys have stories to share with us of terrible dates, we need them. So write them in, and we love them. So go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com, and we love you so much. Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.